was on the TV, the fact that we gave the TV people that much control over our minds, we have that power. Because you have a remote to cut that TV off or on. But notice you don't cut it off when you know there's something you should not be watching. And see, that's the signs that you're living out of control. Notice when you don't cut that mouth off and you have the power to shut it. See, but if you receive the perfect gift of God, the gift of God will be complete. It will empower you and give you authority over your mind, over your mouth, and over your soul. And you will find your life now becoming more controllable. See, anything in control is easier to direct. It's hard to direct your life when it's all over the place. It's like driving the car. If the wheel alignment is off and the axle is broke and crooked, it's hard to keep control of that thing. But if your life is in control, it's easier to direct it. And that's why when you receive the gift of God, straight, narrow, even the crooked places he makes straight. I mean, there's just like a line by which we operate. I mean, you don't have to go on this side and on that side, to the left or the right. You don't even need the broad road. It's just a straight way. And I'm telling you, it's easier to get from point A to point B than it is trying to get there from A to Z. Or north, south, east, and west. It's easier just to go one straight direction. And life was set up to go one direction. It's set up to go God's way. But because we wasn't willing to do everything God's way, and somebody thought herself wise and himself wise to see life another way and partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they begin to start thinking to themselves what will be good and what will be evil. Like, for instance, here's where your mind is out of control. What really makes you think that you know what's good and evil if you don't know whatever it is you're thinking, if it really is or not? Like, for instance, without God and this Bible, how does man know who he is? That one say we a monkey. One say we come from an explosion. They even now got some wise guys that have found a way to funnel some energy through a thing to reenact the explosion. And they're going to get rich off of somebody's ignorance. Because even if they reenact the explosion, I would like to see a human come out of it. I ain't never seen nothing come out of blowing something up. If anything, I'm used to seeing nothing there. And there's no way you can have two eyebrows that even, two eyeballs, nose in the right place, ears in the right place, mouth lined up. See, God in control. Mouth lined up the way it is. And this was a freak accident, and all of us got that same lineup. See, this is perfect. This denotes a higher being, a higher authority, and the element of control. And if we get into this control or this element of God, we'll get into this perfect gift where life becomes perfected or whole. We'll have everything we need to control our environment. And it'll come through an intelligence. It won't come through an ignorance. Okay, I say this way, because Paul said, I have you not to be ignorant of the devices of the devil. The greatest device of the devil is for you to live your life out of control. That's why he'll let you do whatever you want. So you'll create a habit of doing whatever you want, and that's giving into the flesh, the lust of your flesh, the desires of your flesh. And after a while, you'll create a habit you cannot stop. And your habitations will be in your habituation. You live in them bad habits. Shopping when you know you don't need to shop. You need to be paying bills. But you got that habit. You got to look like the Joneses. And I mean you work and live for it. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me now. What you want me to say? Jonah was on his way and he wouldn't go where the Lord want. No. You read about the whale. I'm talking about what you living in now. I'm talking about the habits that we live in and are inhabiting. The things that are tearing your life apart. That not only make you not want to live in this world, but you don't want to serve God either. You just don't know what to do. lost in space. And you walk through life with a spacesuit, floating around. And see, when you're floating, you have no gravity. So that means you can almost be carried anywhere, like a wind tossed to and fro. See, when you have no gravity, man, anything can move you. Out of control. But man, when you have control, you got foundation, you're established, you're rooted. And see, that's what the word of God will do. It'll root you. And see, that's the gift of God. He gave us this word. And man, when God gave us the word, this word became the light and the life of men. And I'm saying, listen to me. It started enlightening those that will receive the word to be the word of God. It started enlightening us of the things that we need to be in control of. For instance, my mouth should not be able to say what it wants to say. Okay, whose mouth is it? If I come and slap you in this, what you think you're going to say if the police showed up? He slapped me where? Whose mouth? Whose mouth? Who? Yeah, I guess y'all know. My mouth. If I hit you in your eye, what you going to tell the police? He hit me where? In my eye. So this is my mouth, my eye, my body. Why can't I control it? If it's yours, because you're not in charge. But see, if you receive this gift from God, this perfect gift, the word of God, Jesus Christ, which was the word in action, man, let me tell you something. You will receive everything you need to start pulling this member and this body in control. It'll come in order. See, the word of God will tell you to bridle your tongue. Because though it's a little member, this little member, like a little rudder, can turn a whole ship around. How many know ships ought to be taking people from one place to the other or getting you to a destination? It's trying to talk about the power that little rotor motor you got in your mouth has. That little motor in your mouth can get you fired from a 20-year job. That little motor in your mouth can get you to a point where you hurt somebody so bad you lose a marriage that was really good for you, but they could not hear the God from you. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. That little mouth you got can get you perched in your mouth. I learned when I was young that little mouth can get you locked up. When you can't resist saying what you want to, especially when you're a child. And you know a child by their doings. For one of the things, a child really don't know what they're doing. That's one of the reasons why you know they're a child. Because, man, you couldn't know what you're doing. And you're sitting here and the doctor said, if you keep eating that beef or you keep eating that pork with that high blood pressure, that you're going to eventually cause yourself a heart attack and die or go into some kind of coma. You couldn't, having sugar diabetes, still be eating all that cake and all that other stuff and not taking what God is telling you. Don't take your insulin or anything else. Come on, say amen to me. You couldn't know what you're doing